On December 20, 1968, a young couple went on their first date in a car. They wanted some privacy, so they drove toward Lake Herman in California. The couple was 16-year-old Betty Lou Jensen and 17-year-old David Faraday. They had no idea that someone was following them. After they parked near the lake, a strange car pulled up behind them. The man inside demanded that they get out of their car. When they refused, the man fired a shot at their car's rear wheel to scare them. Terrified, David and Betty tried to run, but the man chased them down. He shot David in the head and Betty 5 times in the back. After committing this terrible crime, the killer quickly drove away. This tragic event marked the beginning of one of the most notorious unsolved crime sprees in American history, the search for the Zodiac Killer. The Zodiac Killer is one of the most infamous serial killers of the 20th century. During the late 1960s and 70s, he terrorized the San Francisco area with his brutal attacks, which were accompanied by cryptic letters sent to newspapers and police officers. In his letters, the Zodiac Killer would often boast about his murders and taunt law enforcement, challenging them to solve his crimes. After the murders of David and Betty, Zodiac Killer went quiet for about 6 months. Then, on July 14, 1969, Independence Day, in the United States, he struck again. This time, his victims were 22-year-old Darlene Ferry and 19-year-old Michael Magojian. The couple was sitting in their car at Blue Rock Springs Park when they noticed a strange car following them to shake off the floor. They pulled into the parking lot of the park and at first the car parked next to them, but quickly left. Relieved, Darlene and Michael thought they were safe. However, just a few minutes later, the car returned and blocked their way. A man approached their car, shining a bright flashlight in their faces, thinking it might be a police officer. They rolled down their window, but instead of a friendly officer, the man opened fire on them. Darlene died at the scene, while Michael, though seriously injured, survived. Shortly after the attack, police received a phone call from a man claiming responsibility for both this attack and the Lake Herman murders. The police traced the call to a phone booth, but by the time they arrived, the caller had vanished. A month later, on August 1, 1969, the Zodiac Killer sent letters to 3 different newspapers. In these letters, he confessed to the murders at Lake Herman and Blue Rock Springs Park. To prove his claims, he included details that only the killer would know, such as the number of bullets fired and what the victims were wearing. In these letters, the Zodiac also included a coded message, a cipher, and demanded that it be published in the newspapers. If it wasn't, he threatened to commit more murders. This cipher was sent to intelligence agencies, but they couldn't crack it. However, a couple in San Francisco managed to decode it. The cipher revealed the chilling message: "It is so much fun. It's more fun killing wild game. The man is the most dangerous animal of all." His victims were young college couple Brian Hartnell and Cecilia Shepard, who were picnicking near Lake Berryessa. The killer approached them wearing a hoodie costume with the Zodiac symbol on it. He tied them up and stabbed them repeatedly. Cecilia died from her injuries, but Brian survived and provided the police with crucial details about the attack. On October 11, 1969, the Zodiac broke his pattern by killing a taxi driver named Paul Stein in San Francisco. After shooting Paul at point, the Zodiac took a piece of his shirt as a trophy. 2 children witnessed the murder from their home and immediately called the police. The police responded quickly, but they mistakenly believed they were looking for a black suspect. They unknowingly stopped the Zodiac Killer on the street, but let him go because he didn't match the description. Find the Zodiac as fingerprints in Paul Stein. Shortly after the murder, the Zodiac sent another letter to the press. As blood is sure to prove that he was the killer, he threatened to attack a school bus full of children. The Zodiac continued to send letters to newspapers, sometimes including ciphers that he challenged the public to solve. Took over 50 years to crack. It revealed more taunting messages, but no clues about the Zodiac. As best efforts, the Zodiac remained elusive. He attempted to kidnap a woman named Kathleen Jones, but she managed to escape. She immediately recognized him as the man who had tried to abduct her. His final confirmed letter came on January 30, where he claimed to have killed 37 people. Police believe the actual number of murders directly connected to the Zodiac is closer to 5, including the FBI and CIA's behavior and methods. They concluded that the Zodiac likely had military training due to his use of ciphers and his familiarity with military one of the suspects. Richard Kofsky's sketch over the years. Even though the Zodiac Killer gained widespread attention and infamy, his identity remains a mystery to this day. What we do know is that the Zodiac was not just a killer, he was a master of psychological warfare. He created fear not only through his violent acts but through the chilling letters and ciphers he sent to the media. As case continues to captivate people around the world. Thank you for watching this video on the Zodiac Killer. If you enjoyed it,